crafty friends, Kim from Stamping Imperfection. Welcome to my YouTube channel and welcome to my craft room. Today I'm working on a scrapbook layout for this month's scrapbook challenge called Challenge Yourself. The whole premise of the Challenge Yourself scrapbook challenge is that it's a monthly challenge and you have to be in the photo because most of us take pictures of everybody else in our family and we scrapbook all those pictures and we're never in the photo. So you have to be in the photo, and the challenge for February, of course, is to use some hearts in your layout. So I got some of the new Stampin' Up! Scrapbook Workshop kits and I'm in love. I just love scrapbook workshop kits, and I think Stampin' Up! Has so beautifully embraced close to my heart's format, and I love the stuff they're coming up with, so I'm excited about it. And I do find that one scrapbook workshop kit will give me a whole month of scrapbooking. For me, like one kit is absolutely enough to spend a whole month scrapbooking. And I usually get 3 double page layouts, or sometimes 4 or 5 double page layouts out of a scrapbook workshop kit, so I actually really like it. Any leftover papers I use in my traveler's notebook projects, which is basically more of an art journal for me, memory keeping / art journal. So I love that, and I will share some of my traveler's notebook layouts more this year in 2025, just to show you what I do. So I got this Everyday You and Me kit, and I quite like the colors in the kit. I haven't really looked at it too much, so I thought I'd pull it out today. I need to make hearts work with it, so there's no red anywhere in this scheme, so maybe I don't have to use red hearts. It did have a coordinating stamp and die set, and it's got some really nice sentiments that are kind of perfect for, I think, scrapbook layouts, so or even my traveler's notebook. So like perfect title opportunities: love every moment, better together, happy, so much joy. And you could, of course, add any word you wanted to that happy. So I'm very excited about this. And I love big graphic florals. I love that they put some mark stamps in there. I think this is going to be one of those stamp sets that I use a lot, especially in my traveler's notebook. So I'm going to put this aside, and I do really love every moment. I love every moment. And so much joy is actually a really fun one too. I have so many pictures of our brand new granddaughter. She's our first grandchild, and so I've got a few pictures that I haven't scrapbooked yet of her. I got quite a few. My daughter, God bless her, keeps sending them. They gave us one of those digital frames for Christmas, and every time I look over at it and see you've got a new photo, it makes me so excited. So that's pretty fun because they live in Michigan and we live in Florida right now. So, all right. So the scrapbook workshops come with these printed, they're actual sheets of like not just ideas, but the measurements, everything, for 3 double page layouts. So you can make these 3 double page layouts and then still have supplies left over to make some of your own layouts. They give you all the cutting diagrams for the different papers, and you can see which paper this is. And then you can see they have nice photos and step-by-step bits about, or step-by-step instructions to tell you how to put those particular pages together. And I think I really love that they're doing this. I thought this was great when I joined close to my heart, and I'm so happy that Stampin' Up! has actually taken it over, and they've actually improved it too, because they've got extra instructional sheets that are bits that I think are really great. And so I think they've done a really nice job. So I did want to share this. I have these large, and these are actually 13 by 13, I think. 13 by 12 and 3/4, and they're nice. I got a whole set of these, like 30 of them, and I got them on Amazon. They're Kato scrapbook paper storage organizers. I'll put the link below to these in Amazon, because I think they came in a package of 30. Does this say? It was a lot of them. And they fit the paper perfectly with a little extra space, so I can actually fit the stamp set in here if I want to, and embellishments. Like, it's perfect for me. This is perfect for traveling, and it's just a sleeve, so I don't have, there's no flap on it, which I like, because the older you get, the harder those little flaps are to hook. So I really like these, and I have these in a couple different sizes. I have 6x6 sleeves like this for my 6x6 papers. So these are really great, and you can see I have an old Brother P-Touch label maker that I've had for years, and I made a label with the name of the workshop kit. This is called Everyday Happiness, and I am going to slide these down in, because it's unlikely that I will actually make the pages exactly the way these are, although I do love the grid, so contemplating making a grid of my own, although I'm not sure what picture I'm going to use for this month. I think I might take a new one. So this is another thing that Stampin' Up! Has adopted here, and this is like a really thin piece of wood, and these are all laser cut. I mean, they're beautiful, and they coordinate with if I bring that stamp set back in, you can see the florals and the leaves all coordinate with this, and look at all the hearts in here. So I've got lots of opportunities to use hearts that aren't red. Now, this wood is really nice, because you can actually color this with both your alcohol markers, your Stampin' Blends, and your Stampin' Write markers. And I also color them with my ink pads, because I just flip them over on my ink pad and kind of press it down. Usually I use my tweezers, so I'm a little bit tidier, just to push it down in. I'm careful not to push my tweezer into the ink pad, because that will definitely rip it, but you can color it that way too. And you could, if you wanted to, use also use acrylic paint if you wanted to do that. But the dye ink pads work very well. So I am going to keep mine in this zip bag that it came in, just to keep it corralled while I'm working on the kit. And I'm going to slide it for now back in my sleeve here. Now, when I'm done with this workshop kit, which hopefully will be by the end of February, I will remove this, or just put another label over the top of it for the next batch of scrapbook workshop kits that I get. So here are the papers, and these are double-sided papers. I like this a lot. This would make a great sandy page. This gingham is really wonderful. Is it gingham or buffalo check? I'm not sure. This is really beautiful. The back is gorgeous. I have so many pictures of my husband and I at the beach. This might be, actually, I love this. This might be the page that I use, because I have a lot of beachy pictures, and this would work great for a background. We like to take picnics at the beach. So there's that. This is really great. Oh, and the back, of course, is the florals. I love this paper, because these are always the kind of roses they teach you to watercolor in watercolor classes. And mine always look like that. And then there are some single-sided sheets. This one right here. Get 2 of those. Then you have this paper. You have 2 of these, and this is also single-sided. And then there's a big die cut with this. And I'm going to be careful with this because I could actually use this outer bit to actually frame another 12 by 12 page. And there's a sheet of die cuts here, lots of florals, lots of nice big florals. A mat for a photo would be really pretty. I love the Our Happy Place. Oh, look at this color. Is this peacock? This must be peacock. And you get a lot of these. I think I've got 2, 3, 4. And it's two-tone. Look how pretty that is. You get 6 pieces of this. I believe this is peacock. And then you get a sticker sheet. I love this. Lots of border pieces. Enjoying the moment, you and me. Lots of little sentiment strips, dream. I love, 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 love some of these bits. So I've got lots of things I can use there. They do send some photo placeholders. And remember, these, you get enough of these to make those 3 double page layouts that they describe. And on the back of this, it is going to tell me the colors I'm looking at. Gray Granite, Lost Lagoon, Mossy Meadow, Pecan Pie, Pretty Peacock, Very Vanilla, and Wild Wheat. So I've actually gone ahead and done some cutting and pulled out things I know I want to use or potentially use. I popped out all of the die cuts from that one sheet. It makes a much easier pile to handle. I'll put that right on top of my die cut. And I realized that there are 5 sheets of Pretty Peacock and then a sheet of Lost Lagoon. So that gave me a couple opportunities here. And I'll share the rest of the stuff I cut in just a minute, but I want to remind you, this gorgeous paper, this two-tone paper that Stampin' Up! Is now selling is such a great opportunity because you can see there's the darker Pretty Peacock. That's the actual color. Here's a lighter tone of that color. So this gives you already 2 color choices you can use on your scrapbook layout. And then there are the colors that coordinate, or they are in the same, they're just like a lighter tone of those. And that is Lost Lagoon. And it goes so beautifully with either one of these that, like, I have 3 different color options right here and I love it. But the two-tone paper I'm so excited about because I think it just gives you so many choices when you're crafting, and I love that. All right, so I have a layout, kind of a go-to layout, and it looks something like this. Like it's got a wide band. This is a 4-inch band, so this is cut 4 by 12. And I put it, you know, halfway to a quarter. Sometimes I put it at the top, but rarely. I like it sort of in the bottom third, or mostly in the bottom third. I like to have a little of the cardstock showing. Then I also have a piece of, and this is cut 6 by 8 inches. I'm going to tuck this back here, I think. Do I want this like this? Maybe I'll pull it up like this. How's that? So this is what I have so far. And you can turn this way if you prefer. I cut it this size because I know I just want to put 1 photo. But my photos, I tend to always hold my camera like this instead of turning it sideways to take a photo. So this is what I have. And so I cut a couple things down. I cut the piece of Lost Lagoon at 4 1/4 by 6 1/4, and then I cut a piece of the back, the leftover bit, at 4 by 6. So I've got a double mat there for my photo. I'll bring in one of my placeholders, or my photo holders, and I will trim this down. Because I'll make sure my picture is slightly smaller than 4 1/4, so that's going to go on there. So I've got this so far. Then I also have, I think this was one of my two favorite pieces of paper in the whole thing, and I want to bring this out now. And I really like, I like having this tall piece on the side, and then I can decide which way I want it to go, but I'm pretty sure I want more of that. I could just butt it right up next to it, and that gives me more space here. So I've got this going on, and that is going to pretty much be my layout. You could do two, if you wanted to do two photos. Here you could slide that over on top of this guy, but I just want one. Like I just want one, and I want it in that part there. And now I've cut enough to also do the coordinating layout, and it will be the mirror image of this. So it'll be the same layout, except this will be on the right hand side of the layout. I would just move this over like this, and that will be my coordinating page. So I like keeping it simple when I'm doing coordinating pages. And I always start with the left-hand side. I think that's because I'm left-handed. Now, a couple of the things that I did see before I commit to, you know, this right here, a couple of things I saw on the sticker sheet. Now, this is one thing on the sticker sheet. I think there are just two. There are just two of these. This is one whole border piece, and then down here is one whole border piece, and they don't match. So if I'm trying to coordinate a double page layout, I don't have anything that matches there. So I need to keep that in mind. Like that bothers me a little bit that they did that. I suppose I could cut this one off and then cut this one in half, and then I'd have two border pieces that I could use on my layout, just if I wanted more decoration. Or I could cut any one of these bits in half, actually, which I may do, because sometimes I like to run a strip down here or on this side, and I don't feel like there are the opportunities to do that with the stickers. I have a ton of cardstock and designer series paper that I can use from this kit, so I'm not worried about that. So I think I'm going to go with this layout. Now I just have to decide what I want to decorate with. Now they had like some big flowers, and I did tear one. There, I tore this one. So that little guy that got torn will get tucked under. These centers pop out, so I could replace the centers with something more colorful. I kind of feel like these are just blending in. I don't love them. I might add more color. So those are there. I do love big florals, and I love the leaves. There's several of these in the die cuts. It's like 5 of them or something. So I do have those, which I'm happy about. And I love this Our Happy Place. Like that actually makes me really happy. But then there are these circles, and there's a little bit of a variety. So there's 2 of those. There's 1 of these, and then there's this. So I can do something with this. The problem is it kind of just blends with everything. It doesn't really stand out. This one will stand out a little more. And I can slide this in to actually add some stuff. Then I don't have one for the other side, but I can make one of those. And let's look at what I have on my stamp set here. I can also make some florals to go with this. I like that idea a lot. I can do some stamping with these. I love the idea of doing that. And I definitely love the idea of using, I really love this Love Every Moment. I think it's really pretty. I don't have photos for all of us together. I mean, both of us together would be nice. And I still have this piece. I can cut this up and, you know, use it behind my photo mat if I want to. So, like, there's ways to use that. And then, of course, I've got all these great, I've got these. If I use a smaller photo on the other side, and I could use this, and then I could use journal on top of this. Love this, love this, love this, love all these opportunities. This says my happy place here, and lots of circles here I can use. So I'm going to keep this in mind. Here's another little, this is like a little banner shape that instead of this I could use on the other side. So I've got opportunities here. Both pages don't have to be exactly the same. I have to keep telling myself that. They do not have to be exactly the same. So let me decide on decoration here. I think I might make some of my own stamps. And I'm going to keep this one in mind also. So I'm going to put this aside for just a minute. So this is going to be pretty simple. I'm going to have 2 clusters. I'll have a title piece, and I'll add some embellishments. I'm definitely going to add some stamping somehow. I think white would be so pretty on this. And it might be a white gel pen detail, so let me think about that as well. So I went ahead and prepared all my stuff. I die cut all of the things that I stamped, and I also went ahead, and you can see I've got quite a pile of stuff here from that stamp set and that stamp and die set. I also stamped 2 sentiments, Love Every Moment. I really like this one. I just cut this paper down to 1 1/4 by 3 1/2 and just stamped in the center in pretty in peacock. And then I stamped So Much Joy, and I die cut this out with a die from the Mixed Labels die set. Here you can see the dies in this set, and I used the larger of these 2 here. It kind of fit perfectly, so that worked out well. And then I stamped a whole bunch of different hearts, and I used, if you're a Paper Pumpkin subscriber, you can get this stamp set. It's called Spring is in the Air dies, not stamp set, dies. You can get this die set. This is called Spring is in the Air, and these dies coordinate with the January, February, and March Paper Pumpkin kits. So I used that for one of them. I was a little disappointed that it cut it out in 2 pieces, because I was really hoping for just a heart with a scallop. So I would actually use those 2 together on my scrapbook. Then I also cut a bunch of different size hearts with this is the Heart of Elegance dies. There's a couple on this side, and then a couple more on this side. And these 2 actually added a little pretty detail on there, so you can see those. And then here's this up close. You can see the piercing detail, and the same with the smaller heart. It's got a little piercing around the whole edge, like a stitch detail. And I just made hearts of different sizes that I might use on my scrapbook layout. And I also cut out a couple of these 2 leafy hearts, because I realized that actually coordinates pretty well with one of the papers in the Everyday, was it called Everyday Details? I can't remember. So I cut 2 of those out, and a couple of these little stems, because that was one of the dies, because this has a die set, and I used this stem right here. And this is one of the celebration free items, and for this one, if you make a purchase of $120, you can select this stamp and die set. So I actually really like this one. And some of these actually could be nice sentiment strips on a scrapbook layout too. And of course, my sentiments came from the Everyday You and Me, which is the stamp set that coordinates with the scrapbook layout, that layout workshop kit that I'm using. So I've got all my stuff here, and still don't feel ready to commit to exactly where I'm putting these papers yet. So I definitely want to put one across, and you know, I play with moving it up. Actually, I want this like this. Like that. And then something like this. There, so I've got 3 different patterns showing, which I really quite like. Then I've got my photo mats here that are going to go behind my photo. In the center. And now I can make some choices here. I do love this title piece right here. I think I will center that under my photo, and I'll save this one for the other page. So I'm going to put that on the other pile. Now I've got these hearts. Since the challenge I'm working with is, you know, to use hearts, I definitely want to add some hearts here. Like, add them in, and I definitely don't want to leave them plain white. I feel like it's too stark. It's just way too stark. So I'm definitely going to do a little ink blending on these hearts. So I'm going to use a couple of them. And I can still add some of these other bits too. And now, you know, using the hearts, they don't really blend. Like, I don't really lose them because they're blending in with that gingham check paper. All right, so I've got that. All right, and let's pull out some of these florals. So I definitely want to add some florals. So I've got some small ones that I can add here as well. And I do want to include at least one of those, at least one of the wild wheat ones, because I really liked those. All right, so I think that I'm good on those. I've got all of these, and I've got these in 3 different colors. So I'll keep those there. And then I've got some leaves in 2 different colors. So I can tuck some leaves in here. There we go. Tuck some leaves up here as well. There we go. And I can add a little pop of color here with a little stem. There we go. And I could add in some smaller hearts if I wanted to. Or I could add in one of these if I wanted to. All right, so I can keep this, you know, as busy or as simple as I want. I can add in this also, because the white does really pop off the darker colors, not so much the lighter ones. Just like that. Okay, and I've got the wooden ones too, and I've also got these big green bits as well that I can use. I can tuck those in someplace here as well. Now that white pops a little bit more. All right. There we go. So I've got the moss in both places. I think I'm good with that now. I do want to add some color to those hearts. They just feel so stark. And I want to add a couple of wooden bits. So I'm going to go ahead and tape all my papers down And one trick I'm going to show you this. So I've got this photo on my phone of my layout so I can recreate this, because I'm going to take it all apart. Alright, so I actually adhered all my papers, and I'm just putting the extra stuff aside. I realized I did a couple things that I wanted to make sure you see that I did. And one is that I gave the edge of my photo mats a little bit of distress, and I just did that by taking the paper, and I have this little distresser. Stampin' Up! Sold these many years ago. You can use the edge of your paper snips also, but this is actually a Tim Holtz one, so Tim Holtz sells them too, and I've had this maybe 5 years, but the Stampin' Up! One is older than that. And it's got blades in there, and you just run it along the end of edge of your paper. What you have to be careful of is, can you see that dent? The way you hold the paper matters, and I never can seem to hold it without like putting a dent in it, so I'm careful about that. But you can see then you get this raggedy white edge, which I love. This paper has a white core. This two-tone paper has a white core. You can see the difference in color between the front and the back. And it's got that white core, so if you sand it, you could use sandpaper to do this too. If you sand it, like if you emboss it and then sand it, you'll get that white showing through. So I did that to both of these papers, and I like the result. So the other thing that I did was I actually attached all of these together as I pulled them off, which makes it really easy just to plunk them back down together. And I just used glue dots to do that. I also want to do something more to these pieces. So I'm going to put these aside here. And I want to do something more to this. So I'm going to pull out that peacock. Oops, that's not peacock. Here it is. And you could use any color that coordinates with your stuff. And I've got the two hearts that I'm going to use. So I pulled out one of my blender brushes, and this is very dry on here. This is my blue blender brush. And I just want to very lightly add some blue. I'm going to come off on my glass mat and just go around the edges. I'll do the same thing to the larger one. And I like the dark edge. And then I'm just going to gently add a little bit of color. Just like that. I don't want too much color. I'm going to do the same thing to the little one. I just want to knock back that white. It feels like neon. And I'm going to take this one and add a little bit more darker color. So it's a different color than the that check paper, that gingham check paper. So I'm making the edges darker and leave it a little bit lighter in the center. There we go. So that's that. Oh, and I also want to, while I have my ink pad out, I'm just going to run the edge of my title piece that I created in the blue, and you don't want to run it across because you can actually slice your foam ink pad, so you don't want to run it. You just want to tap it gently. So that'll make that pop a little bit, and I'm going to clean this up. So I've got a lot of extra bits left over for the other page and for another project. So I'm going to pull this one up here like this. It's a little bit higher than I had it before. I'm going to use some dimensionals on the back of this. And I think I'm going to add one dimensional. I'm looking for my little, I have this little bowl I use as my little paper bin for like the back of these dimensionals. So I'm just going to pop that up on a dimensional, just give it a little tiny bit of interest. And I'll just put 3 on the back. Okay, and then I can place this on. Now I don't have, I want to put the dimensional like where I want to be able to slide the photo under here. So I'm kind of butting that dimensional up against the edge of the paper. I can feel that. So I'm going to put these two things back in. And again, I want to actually pop the edge of this up on a dimensional also. And again, I want to put that so that it butts up against the paper and that it's not over my photo bit. And then I'm going to add these in here. Okay. Just like that. So my hearts have a little bit of color. I like them a little better. They're not just kind of blending in or popping, like being eyebulgy bright. I'm going to put 4 dimensionals on the back of this, and I need to decide. I think I might put it here. I actually really like it here. I love how it pops off this, but now that I've inked the edges, I'm going to just move that up a little bit and center it under my photo, just like that. All right, now let's bring in those wood pieces. And I need some hearts here, and maybe even a couple of these floral bits. Like these are pretty. Let's see what these look like. If I stick one back here, it looks really pretty on that dark. Especially using the airier ones. Or I could. This one's huge. I could use this one and send it right up the page. And then I can use another one of these, sending it down. And I like that. I like that detail. All right, hearts. I like that, actually. And there's a few different sized hearts. I need a smaller one for this one. Just kind of put it over the heart, and I will tuck it under the flowers a little bit. I do want to include some kind of journaling box. So maybe I can actually add something over here that I can write on. I'm just going to tuck it under this leaf so this all feels connected. And hopefully this one will not be interfering with my photo too much. I might have to move that actually, now that I'm looking at that. I'm realizing this piece needs to be moved over or just turned a tiny bit. Okay. hanging over quite so much. There we go. There we go. So I can put this up here. Get it straight. Oops, I gotta attach my heart. These came with the Otter kit, the Riverside Irregular Pebbles. I feel like they will work pretty well on here, and there's quite a variety of colors. I'm going to shoot for the blue ones though. They're kind of an iridescent blue. There we go. So I've got my visual triangle going on there. Let's get some up here. And then right there. So I've got a triangle there as well. So I've got some hearts on there. The hearts aren't overwhelming, but I still feel like I've met the challenge. And I've got a bunch of bits left over to make the coordinating page. I can add my photo as soon as I print it, and I can add some journaling here, which I love to do. I just like to put the date and location and names of the people in the photo, but it'll be a photo with me and someone else, either my husband or my daughter or my granddaughter, and then on the next page I can add a larger journaling space, and it'll just be the mirror image of this one. So there you go. You can see that was pretty quick and easy to. The worst part of the whole project was doing all the die cutting, because when you only get one die for each different thing, you have to, cut as many times as you, stamped them. So there's that. All right, so that completes that project. I hope you love this. I love this everyday details. I think that's what it's called, right? Oh, it's Everyday Happiness. Everyday Happiness. I think it's a beautiful set. I love the color combination. So I would love to know what you think if you leave me a comment below. If you're looking to purchase these products, you can shop in my online store, my Stampin' Up store at shopwithkim.net. And if you're new here, I would love to have you click subscribe to get notifications every time I upload a new video. And if you're not new here, thank you so much for joining me today. And I would love to know what you think of this layout. So thank you so much, friends, for watching.